tell the girl on the switchboard to stop trying to get me these numbers on a person-to-person basis and connect me with whoever answers the telephone?
Yes, Mrs. Pollard.
Someone somewhere avoiding you?
Nothing you need concern yourself about.
Seems to be concerning you.
Yes, well, it needn't worry you yet.
Have some coffee with me, will you?
Why not? Could we have coffee for two over there, please? If you're not going to read that, may I?
It's only business.
Yeah, well, I'll risk it.
Those person-to-person calls were to Miranda, weren't they? How many times did the switchboard try?
Twice before midnight last night, and once on the hour, every hour since 8 o'clock this morning.
That's 6 times.
You know, I really do envy you, your amazing talent at elementary mathematics.
6 equals something I should be concerned about.
You see? I knew you'd get in a flutter.
I am not in a flutter. You are.
Well, I keep telling myself she's 25 years of age, and she was probably out last night with some local Romeo, in which case it is not at all remarkable that she didn't return to the villa before midnight.
And this morning, she dutifully went to the office.
This morning, I had her called on a person-to-person basis at the office as well as the villa.
Well, perhaps she had the day off.
Unlikely.
Well, as you said, she's over 25. Nothing to worry about yet, is it?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, dear. Oh, Jill. How are the chalet bookings?
Heavy.
Well, perhaps you could reserve one for Miranda.
Oh, she's coming. When?
In her own sweet time. We are having a little difficulty getting our invitation through to her.
So you wish me to keep a chalet which you will pay for from today?
Well, that was unnecessary, Jill. Of course I will pay for the courtesy.
As you wish.
Now, Miranda got on better with Jill than anyone here. Yet the news of her coming went down like a stone.
I don't think it was anything to do with the news. It was who gave it to her. Jill will never forgive you for trying to diddle Diane.
No, it's not that. Jill's been like that to me ever since she voted in such a way that Adam Chance could return here. Typical, of course.
Typical of what?
Women. They hit you on the nose, then resent it if you bleed.
You must have some idea of the terms that David had in mind. Didn't you discuss it with Diane at all?
Well, I don't remember. Why didn't you ask Diane herself what she'll be paid? I mean, it's this sort of thing that keeps on interfering with my writing.
I regard this whole business of Diane coming back here to work as a figment of your novelist's imagination if I hadn't seen her turn up for duty in the restaurant breakfast.
Oh, good. That confirms it.
What?
I told her to start tomorrow, which, of course, means today.
Yes, Barbara, that doesn't help me fill in the employment papers and pay her.
No?
No.
Well, Jill was here, of course. Why didn't you help Adam over this Diane bit?
What?
Why didn't I leave you with Adam to sort this Diane thing over together?
Look, why, as you appear to have nothing else to do, don't you let me get on with my work?
I'll try Paul Ross.
You could have handled that. I remember when you went over the staff list with David when he was trying to find Diane a place. All you had to do was tell Adam what David had said.
Well, that's your memory for you, isn't it? Comes and goes. Goes when it's needed and comes when it isn't.
Listen, are you always going to sidestep when you have to go through nothing more alarming than a bit of motel business with Adam?
Look, I just wish to make it clear that I will not stand in for you with Adam or anyone else whenever you neglect any of your motel business.
Reception. Mr. Chance has just gone through to the dining room. Would you tell him, please, that I'd like to see him after he's finished with Mr. Paul Ross? Thank you.
Oh, getting stuck in there, are we?
Endless paperwork these days.
Yeah, I know. It's all go, innit? Sharon about?
Not at the moment.
Oh. Where's she gone, then?
I've no idea.
Well, you want to take an interest. I mean, she does get about, doesn't she? Here, you missed out the other night.
What?
The old taverna. Fantastic, I tell you.
Sharon did say something.
Did she? Surprises me a bit.
Well, why should it? Have you some idea I'd object to her having a good night out?
No. I mean, if you've got that sort of arrangement, well, far be it for me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That, I believe. I think it's about time you and I, Oliver, had a little chat.
What about?
All this and that in the world in general.
I'm sorry I haven't the time.
No, I don't mean now.
Or the inclination.
Oh, yeah, well, that's where you and I differ, innit? Me? No, I've always got the inclination.
Look, if you don't mind, I've got an awful lot of work.
You have a problem, and I'd like to help. So I think a little parley might not go amiss.
I don't know of any problem.
I'll put you wise. Shall we say the bar, 7-ish, doubles? I'll get 'em in.
Paul Ross, as usual, is ahead of us. He tackled David this morning before he went to the conference centre and got this memo out of him about Diane's salary.
Adam, will you sit down? I didn't call you in to discuss Diane. I actually called you in to, or rather invited you in to discuss me. Tell me, do you love Jill?
I thought you invited me in to discuss you, not Jill.
Well, you see, I just want to go to David and ask him if I can drop some of my managerial responsibilities, which would mean that you would have to take over most of them. And that, in turn, would mean that you would be in continual consultation with Jill. Well, you saw just now that Jill wouldn't consult with you over the simplest of matters, like Diane's re-employment.
Oh, she would have consulted with me if there'd been no alternative. This morning there was Paul Ross.
Do you think you've made her happy by returning? I mean, it must be plain to you that every moment you're on duty must be an embarrassment to her.
Now, look, Barbara, if I left, an under-manager would take my place, one presumably who Jill could get along with. You could drop your responsibilities and take up your writing, but for whose sake should I do this, Barbara? Yours or Jill's?
Well, quite frankly, I'm going to be perfectly selfish about all this. I would like you to leave because, first, my sake, second, Jill's, and third, your own.
You asked me just now if I loved Jill. What, for argument's sake, if I did?
Well, if you really did, you'd have the decency to leave her alone.
You said just now that you were being perfectly selfish about all this. Remember this, then. Every true lover is selfish, too.
My, we are busy.
I have been busy. You better believe it.
Oh, hello, David.
If I'd known this was such a hive of activity, I wouldn't have interrupted.
I think I've been as busy this evening as you have.
I'd gladly have swapped. The conference centre was at its worst.
Unfortunately, Adam was at his best.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that all true lovers are perfectly selfish?
Never thought of it.
Yes, I did notice. No, if Adam's right, we're stuck with him. At least we are if he keeps on thinking he's right and doesn't start to wonder if he'd do the manly thing by thinking he was wrong.
Sounding as incomprehensible as your last novel.
You didn't read my last novel. The point is, while you were fiddle-faddling around with Jill, I was working on Adam's conscience.
You mean he has one?
Women are realists, men are romantics, and that is what I'm counting on. That he would want to do the far, far better thing and put his head on the block and let fate chop it off. Give it to Jill as a souvenir. Go, leave her in peace.
Ah, that little scheme might work with a delicate soul like me, but with Adam, not a hope.
We'll see.
But when?
Give it a week.
Well, having luxuriated in your fantasies, do you feel like joining me in a bit of a routine hard work?
No, not really.
One scotch and soda.
Thanks.
I took a bit of a gamble there, but I said to myself, Oliver, he's a scotch and soda man, am I right?
You up?
It's one thing I'm good at, it's reading character. Cheers.
Now, what exactly is it that you want to
I'm
talk
glad you came. I had my doubts in the office this morning, and that would have been a bit of a shame, really, because, well, I don't know, I think this sort of thing's important, huh? It's not the sort of thing you can brush aside or, you know, sweep under the carpet. Do you know what I did when I left your office this morning?
I've really no idea.
Well, I'll enlighten you. I slipped into Sid's old banger, And I drove over to have a look at your gaff.
What did you do that for?
Research. I was looking for the complete picture. The whole man, you might say. And now I've found it, I've satisfied myself. Upper bracket, doing very nicely. 2-car family, nice bit of property. High on the burglar hit list, I reckon, by all accounts.
Look, is all this supposed to be leading somewhere?
Oh, yeah. It's leading somewhere. What I'm saying is, Squire, you had it sewed up all nice and tidy. And along comes Sharon and the spanners in the works. I bet that went down a bundle with your old woman.
I don't have to see
Now,
this.
hang about. What I'm offering is to take her off your hands. Well, Sharon, that is, not your old woman. And I can do that just as easy as waggling my finger.
Let me make one thing perfectly clear. Sharon and I are in love. We intend to get married. So don't think you can go bulldozing your way into our relationship, because you can't. I won't allow it.
If I read you correctly, what you're saying is that I got to back down and leave it alone.
If you're wise, yes.
Ah, yeah, well, wisdom, that's something else, isn't it? It's a bit of a problem, isn't it? I'll tell you what I do. If I do that, you know, leave the field clear, well, I'll be looking for some sort of compensation. Ah, with me out the way, she's all yours. So naturally, I'll be looking for a bit of a backhander, wouldn't I?
That last remark could land you into a lot of trouble.
Am I to take from your attitude that you are not going to go along with my suggestion?
I'll go further. I warn you now. If you pester Sharon in any way, or if there are any further attempts at extortion, I will have the law on you, I promise you that. And with your record, I don't think you'd take very kindly to their attention. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that was fair enough. What is it they say? All's fair in love and war. Well, I don't know if I go along with that. Because I reckon I got the edge on you. I mean, I can make a woman happy, and as for war, leave you standing. Now, what exactly were your qualifications, Oliver?
Glenda? Oh, there you are. I thought at least you might have laid the table.
Oh, Kevin's taken me out.
Again?
You don't mind, do you?
No, but I thought you were going to be in for supper tonight. I bought some chops.
Oh, they won't go to waste. I'm sure Mr. Dobson can eat too.
Oh, he's not here, is he?
Oh, yeah. He's pottering about in the greenhouse. Bought some little cuttings over or something.
Oh, darn them, man.
Oh, beginning to get on your nerves too,
Well,
is it?
it's just that I was looking forward to a quiet evening. There's something I want to talk to you about.
Well, it'll have to wait, won't it?
Do you have to go out tonight?
Mum, I am not sitting at this table having supper with Percy Dobson. And Kevin certainly isn't. He sees him all day at work.
Well, I don't have to invite him out to eat with us, do I?
What's he going to do then, eh? Pop out there every 5 minutes with sandwiches and cups of tea? Because he's here for the night, Mum. He's got his little apron on and all.
I'll have a word with him.
Shouldn't bother. Got to hide like a rhino, that man.
Ficklin.
Yep.
I'm sorry about this, Mum, but I just couldn't be doing with old Percy tonight. It's been one of them days.
Well, if you must, you must. But before you go, there's something I want to talk to you about.
Tell us when we get back.
No, I must get it off my chest now, because the longer I leave it, the harder it'll be for me to say.
What is it?
Sit down, the pair of you, will you? I've been doing a bit of thinking about this house, and I'm not sure that I'm ready to part with it, not yet.
Mum?
Well, that doesn't mean to say that you won't get it eventually. That's if you still want it, perhaps after the baby's born.
You're not going to sell to us now?
No, I'm not, Kevin, not yet.
But you said we could have it. You promised.
You've been on us for weeks to get everything settled, arrange the mortgage.
You didn't, did you? You kept putting things off.
Well, it was only because we couldn't find the time. You know that.
Oh, come on, love. You found the time to decorate it and pull the place apart, didn't you?
Well, is that it? Is it because you don't like it?
Well, it might have had something to do with it. I admit I wasn't very happy about the way you rushed into things before you had the right.
Oh, I see. We should have asked your permission first, should we?
Well, you could have waited until the place was yours.
We just didn't think, I suppose. Well, it's needed redecorating for months.
Oh,
I
well,
thought
if it was in that bad a state, I'm surprised you didn't suggest doing something about it before. But once you thought the place was yours, that was different, wasn't it?
Of course it was different. We wanted to see the place looking nice.
It always looks nice, Glenda. Of course, I'll pay you for any expense you've been called
don't
upon.
be so
All the
daft.
hard work we've put in thinking it was going to be our place.
Well, yes, I'm sorry about that, love. I realise I've disappointed you and let you down, but Mr. Dobson's right. I really am not ready to part with it. Not yet.
Mr. Dobson? I might have known. He's behind all this.
You haven't let him talk you into changing your mind, have you, Mum?
Where are you going, Kevin?
I'm going to get him in. We're going to sort this here right now.
What's he been saying?
Nothing I haven't known before, Glenda.
And what does that mean exactly?
Ever since you thought you were going to get this place, you've changed, the pair of you. Behaving as if you own me as well as this place.
If I've changed, it's because of the baby. I am pregnant. Had you forgotten that?
No, I haven't forgotten it, Glenda, and that's all part of it, too. You don't want the worry and the bother of buying a house and getting into debt, because that's what you would have been,
Mum,
you know.
you're just saying the first thing that comes into your mind to make it sound all for the best.
It will be all for the best, Glenda. You'll thank me
What's in it
later
for you,
on.
eh? Going to make an offer for it yourself?
You've got it all wrong.
I'm
And
sorry. I'm
no,
sorry
it's all
about
right, Kath, don't worry. Changed your mind about selling the house, is that it?
As if you didn't know.
As a matter of fact, I didn't.
No, that's quite right. Mr.
But you've been
Dobson-
chatting to it, haven't you, eh? Putting the idea in her head.
Yes, I have. And if you think I'm apologising for that, you're mistaken. I've had Mrs. Brownlow's best interests at heart.
It was none of your business.
Maybe not. But I wasn't going to stand by and see her used by the pair of you.
What do you mean, used?
Well, exactly what I say. If you were so darn keen to have a place of your own, why didn't you get off your behind years ago and go out and find one? There was nothing to stop you.
Kevin was out of work for a while, as if you didn't know.
Not for long, Glenda.
Anybody would think she was giving it to us.
Well, she is, practically.
I offered a fair price.
Did you? And even if you did, where is it? You put your money on the table yet? No, just
Mr.
hang on a
Dobson,
minute,
please.
Kath.
Mum has always known she could live here with us.
Yeah, we all know about giving Mother a roof over her head. How long for? For as long as it suited you.
I've had about as much of you as I can take, Dobson.
You've treated Mrs. Brownlow like some useful, unpaid housekeeper for too long. Getting your meals, doing your housework and your laundry.
I do my share.
Yes, she does. You're being unfair.
I'm not
now.
talking to Glenda, I'm talking to him. Yeah, it's been very handy, this, hasn't it? Living here with your in-laws. No responsibilities. No bother. Just pay your share of the housekeeping and forget it. Well, enough's enough, lad. Time to grow up.
But don't you speak to Kevin like that.
Well, somebody has to. There's good in him somewhere, but he's too full of himself. You stick to your guns, Kath. This is your home, your bit of independence. Once you give that up, oh, you're nothing. You'll be at their mercy.
What is he on about? This is ridiculous.
Now, don't listen to him. There's something behind all this. I've seen him work on people before.
And what do you mean by that?
I'll tell you what I mean by it. I'm sick of you, Dobson. It was bad enough he come into this house in the first place, but now this, interfering in our private lives, that's it. You can stick your job. I'm leaving.
Oh, big words, lad, big words. Just you see how much self-respect will be left you after a couple of months out of work.
Oh, I'll find something. I'm not dependent on you for a living. I'm off, right? Find some other mug to look after your tin-pot little business.
Happy now. Is that what you wanted?